All right, all right. The show has started. Welcome for another show. So happy everybody is here. We are growing, folks. And names are being experimented with, but we'll have something soon. It's not the name, it's the people. Okay,
Fact.
what up, Big Trish?
What's up? What's up, fam? I missed y'all guys. How y'all
I
been?
know. What's up? She been gone. She was partying on us. Sif, she was partying on us. We had to do one
Listen,
alone one year. I mean, a couple of weeks ago. Big Sif.
look,
What's good? What's good? I hope all is well. Trish, like you had a good time down there in Florida at the PGA show.
always. I've come to a realization that golfers have the absolute most fun, hands down. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
That's a great quote. Let's go. All right. We still having some producers errors. Okay. All right. We are in the house. We got a great show lined up for you today. Um, and I'm going to start off by saying when we first started the show 2 years ago, we all three of us came and we were like, we're going to spotlight HBCU golf. We think it's important. We think it's great for the growth of the game. I think that's where it's going to start if we want to start, matriculating people into the mini tours and the Corn Ferry tours and then eventually to the PGA. We need to support. I think we can support the most people through the HBCU golf portal. That's and people just keep it 100. People not question it, but like I don't think nobody cares about HBCU golf like that. A lot of programs were shut down, but then some programs was coming. We was gracious enough to get a lot of HBCU coaches and ADs and assistant ADs to come on the show with the prime effect and the HBCU spotlight just happening in the last 6 months. We were actually some of the first to understand that it could start at home with the HBCU stuff. It needs to start at home.
Right.
And I'm glad if it's in the spotlight now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, I think going forward, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But I also think that we have to be able to call each other out on malfeasance or mismanagement
No
or,
doubt.
if we want to continue to be great, because
Right.
then we start turning into the all lives matter crowd. Like you
Right.
can't say anything about anything about anything else you're not supporting anything.
Right.
And I
Mm,
think that's total bullshit. You know what I mean? Because at least on this show, we come from a standpoint of 100% with the HBCUs. And any guests we
absolutely.
have on and anybody that we interview needs to feel the same way, else they're not going to be on this show. You know what I mean? We come from a standpoint of that. And if we do have some criticisms and we do have some introspective investigation on why this or why that, it's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of we're supporting you regardless. We just want transparency. We want truth. And really, it's before the school and the institution, we have to be advocates for the students and the
Right.
student athletes.
No
That's
doubt.
first and foremost. That's going to be the generational wealth. That's going to be the long lasting effects. Long when we in the dirt, those students are going to be going on making it happen. What say you guys before we start in on the clips and get into this right now?
Yeah, man. It's just bec just because I fight my brother every day doesn't mean that I don't love him. And so,
Exactly.
and I think what we've seen here in the past in the past couple of months with Dion and Ed Reed now. I think all of it comes from love and like you said earlier, transparency. We have some issues,
Mm,
and the thing is when you take even $100,000 Say, for example, I'm down the street from Livingstone College. You take $100,000 away from that institution, it impacts other programs. It's significant. You know, at UNC Chapel Hill, you take $100,000. That's just like just like throwing cotton
They
balls in
lose
the
that in the couch. Exactly. They losing
fire.
that in the couch.
So the thing is we have to be transparent when we recruit these kids. Not only let's take sports off the table. Let's say students. When we bring students into an institution of higher learning, uh, we've promised mom and dad that we have their best interests. We promise mom and dad that we have uh, decent housing, decent education, and we can't subsidize that. And so when we started to subsidize that because we want bigger shrimp at the conference tournament in the president's box, then that's the issue. If the young ladies on B Hall doesn't have hot water, so I think for the most part, and I know I don't want to get too much into what we're going to speak about with Bethune Cookman and Jackson State, but I think for the most part, knowing guys like Ed Reed and Prime, they actually brought the attention to HBCUs, whatever side that you're on. Now we're talking about HBCUs. HBCUs weren't mentioned in that light
At
a
all.
year or two ago. Now all of a
At
sudden
all.
they're at the forefront. But what it does is it also when they say they're underfunding. Now I'm sure you got some white funding institutions that are saying, "Hey guys, we got to do better," because now
Yeah,
they're
no.
going to start. Now they're going to start looking at us.
Well, we're gonna get into the funding too, because with this kerfuckle, Roland Martin had Jim Clyburn send him the congressional sheet of federal funding for HBCUs. And what is it, 104 HBCUs, 105, 100, 104, 105 HBCUs. And he sent the sheet, private and state, on the funding that each one got from Congress and Biden in 2022. And it's in the billions. That doesn't mean, you divide that into 100 and something universities. So it's not, when you say, oh, they got billions of funding, it is, but when you divide that in there, it comes into 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars. And we're talking huge institutions. Like, I think Alabama's football budget for the year is 38 million. Just the football budget.
Yeah.
For recruiting and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to the football. It's going to everything else. It's not going to golf. So
No.
So what do we? Yeah. So that's the issue. Like, what are we going to do to change that?
But the thing is football is what supports all the other subsidiary programs. That's a fact.
Football and basketball.
Yeah.
It's a plus.
So that
golf
funds,
is a negative in the short term. Yeah,
if
golf
Alabama,
is a negative in the short term.
Yeah, if Alabama didn't have football, they probably wouldn't have a golf team. Keeping it 100. Football funds everything. The thing that I get, kind of perturbed about is University of Alabama can have a gala and raise $50 million in 24 hours because they want to. But some of our HBCU constituencies, when you ask them for $5, alumni, I ain't got it.
We're going to get into that. Yeah. No, we're going to definitely get into that. So let's get into Bethune Cookman real quick. Shout out to Roland Martin and his digital network. They did a fantastic job, and they were one of the first to get both interviews and a full-fledged interview, not just one-sided, a full-fledged interview. So we're going to get into the Bethune Cookman's intern president and how he answers what happened between him and Ed Reed.
These next two segments, and so let's just walk through this. Ed Reed said he did not want to step down. He was not pulling out. Whose decision was it for him not to become the head coach? Was it you, the interim president, or was it the board of trustees?
It was the interim president. It was my decision.
It was your decision?
Yes.
And so why did you make that decision not to move forward with Ed Reed?
So we As you know, about Sunday, a week ago, well, let me back up. Actually, starting in December, we were working on a contract for naming Ed Reed as the head coach. I interviewed Ed, and I had three important things that I asked him to ensure that he was willing to do as part of becoming part of the Wildcat family. One was I needed him to really understand that we were a Christian institution, that behavior and character were clearly our priorities. And I asked him if that was okay with him. Could he abide by that? Could he, position himself as a role model for our student athletes as well as for the university itself? He indicated he would. Second question I asked is, well, great, I'm glad you're willing to do that. I need to know if you're also willing to build the kind of program that will allow you, because you've not been a coach before, this is an opportunity for you to be a head coach your first time. The university is giving you an opportunity to do that. And therefore, we want to surround you with the kind of people that can draw up the X and O's and help you become a stronger coach. He said, I get that. And I'm willing.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Because it's a good, I'm glad, Sif, you went to an elite football high school, matriculated and played college ball. Most of your peoples are NFL players. We've had them on the show, from NFL official referees to actual players to Super Bowl champions. They've been on this show. We've talked to them. Those are your people. And I want you to kind of elaborate. When you bring in a head coach, do you bring your own staff to surround your head coach?
Absolutely.
Or does your head coach bring his own coaches in? How does that play?
You change the culture. If Bethune Cookman, Jackson State, whatever the university or institution may be, if you're going to change the culture, you have to eradicate everything that was there. So you're going to bring your own coaching staff with you, because you can't afford to have someone sitting there that could be going against you or doesn't have your best interest. So you have to have a clear conscience and a clear mind in terms of how to move forward with your coaching staff. The one thing that I dislike in this particular piece, what we just witnessed with the interim president, is that he wouldn't allow someone to come in and tell him how to fundraise. He wouldn't allow someone to come in and tell him how to galvanize his professors on the campus for an higher education for its students. So I think that he doesn't have the skill set to I won't say hire a coach, because a president is going to sit and he's going to sit on that committee, but there needs to be a committee of other athletic director, former coaches. I mean, you have people, in the, all around who could make that committee up to hire a
The
coach.
board. I think the
Yeah,
board
board,
did.
yeah.
I think the board had to okay it, but that's like you get bought out by a company or you bring in a new CEO, but the company picks the support staff. It could be snakes and cancers left over from the last administration. You got to bring your own people. But I digress. Let's keep listening just for a quick second.
To do that. The third thing, as I said, this is not University of Miami and it's not the NFL. We just came through 2 hurricanes, $6 million worth of damage. Much of what we've been working on for the last year and a half is improvements not only to the university's infrastructure, but also a long-term investment plan. We have about $100 million that we need to invest in the university over the next several years. We said to him, look, you're going to become part of that. Are you open to helping us do that and build the program? He said yes to that. So when we saw the first video criticizing the university and saying, well, it's trashy and my office is dirty and all that, first of all, he was an employee of the university and he had not an office. When the last staff moved out, we started renovating that building, everything from the coaches' rooms to the other places. We had given him some permission that he really took to the next level. First of all, he wasn't authorized to even take video. He wasn't authorized to do it.
Okay, we're going to stop right there for a quick second, and I'm going to get Trisha in too. You give the man keys to the school. You want him to be involved in bringing in his friends, which means money, to the school. You've seen how Dion has used social media with his sons to bring awareness and bring money to the schools, but you don't allow him, or you say now you don't allow him to use video, or he didn't have an office, but you give him keys. I think he was holding practices in recruiting already. All this has been proven to be probably 90-something% of what he's saying right now has been refuted also. Trish, so far, what do you think?
I don't know. I feel bad. I think it was going to be a great move for the school. I mean, they didn't have they didn't have a program. And then so, we don't have a golf program, but like the school needed this. So when it was excitement, and then it was a letdown, and then you see how the students reacted. I mean, that it caused all kinds of issues. He made his comments of how the school looked, and the kids came forward and they talked about how, it was mold and this, that, and another. And I mean, it just opened a big, big can of worms for the school. Probably something they could have avoided.
Absolutely.
It's no winners. It's no winners.
Mm-mm.
Let's continue. It's no winners.
But he did them anyway. The university had to take responsibility for that because it happened. But quiet as kept, that isn't the kind of behavior that we would expect. And then the expletives and those kinds of things in that first video, you might call that an aberration. And I would say it could be. And you have to be a forgiving individual. But when you have this much damage, you look at the gym and you look at this video and you look at it critically. But I would invite anyone to come to our campus, because all parts of our campus don't look that way.
But Manny, and just let me insert briefly, because he was talking about the cursing. Now, there's a video out there of Kirby Smart, his pregame speech, where he's using MF, GD, F. I mean, everything under the sun.
Locker room football.
Yeah, right. So, do you think they're going to terminate his contract at the University of Georgia?
It was a lot of double talk, and I'm glad Trish is here too, because she's from the state of Florida, and it was a lot of double talk, and we do that sometimes, and not we. Administrations and leadership does that sometimes to save their own ass, even if it doesn't help the students. And I don't think it's not a HBCU thing or a PWI thing. It's a power tripping thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think only the students lose. Only the students lose. Let's go in the clip.
What was it the second video? What was the final straw? What caused it where you made the decision that we're not moving forward with Ed Reed as coach?
I think the final straw was actually the third or fourth video, one with the background music being booties, butts, and boobs, and hoes. And, we have 65% of our campus is female. And my view is that we are trying to build young men to respect Black women. We're trying to build a culture where they understand that people can say whatever they want to say, but we think you can do anything respectfully. And when we think about the culture that we're trying to build, that we have companies and partners like Disney and some of our other partners calling saying, what are you going to do about that? We can't support that kind of image. And of course, they're one of our biggest sponsors for the Classic.
So you're saying Disney, officials with Disney called you complaining about Ed Reed and saying we can't support Bethune Cookman if he is going to represent the university?
They didn't say we can't. They questioned what we were going to do. And I think that was an appropriate.
I can't anymore. I got to stop this guy. What up, Big Chaz Penny, another HBCU guy that's been on the show. Dude, did he just throw Disney under the bus? Am I tripping? Did he try to blame this on Disney? Disney is a supporter too, by the way.
But here's the thing.
Okay, yeah, you know better because you out.
No, but see, his hands are. But if that's the case, so I mean, his hands are tied. Like, what is he supposed to do if that's the case? If Disney is a legitimate big supporter of BCU, And they came to him like, hey, we're not going to support that. We don't like that behavior. Like, what were they supposed to do? Their hands were tied.
I
Hey,
get that, but you're gonna tell me that Disney hates the background music that someone else is playing, or do they want kids eating mold? Which one looks worse?
Oh,
Which one looks
oh,
worse? You Disney, and you got kids on TV up to here with mold, and
yeah.
they're supposed to be giving money, and they're laying on mold and chasing rats around the dormitory, or you got
Oh,
booty music that he wasn't even playing. So which one was it? Which one did they didn't like? Oh, yeah, the kids can have the mold and get cancer 20 years from now, but that booty music, we love our women too much. Are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me?
Hey, at the end of the day, man, it boils down to this. That's with Disney, Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Nike. If you're
mm-hmm,
winning and you're successful, they don't give a damn if you cut somebody's head off. As long as
Pretty
as
much.
long as the program is successful and win, like Florida. I mean, Florida had the biggest sponsorship of Coca-Cola, and they got Hernandez on the team. I mean,
mm,
you've got so many things that took place at the University of Florida that a lot of people don't know about. I'm privy because I've got people on the inside that they still support it. You got things that are going on at the University of Georgia that
mm-mm,
people aren't privy to, but they still support it. If you are winning, if you're winning, they want to associate themselves with a winner. And I think Ed Reed, he already had gotten confirmation from Shaq. Hey, bro, what you need? Shaq said, "What
Yeah.
you need?" So now you know everything else is coming. Now I'm not gonna sit up here and say that uh, you know, Chris he condones a lot of the stuff that a lot how Ed Reed went in.
Yeah,
When you
yeah, yeah. I have criticism on that. I
when
have
you're
some criticism
older
on
you
that.
do better. But at
mm.
the same time, he told the truth. It just wasn't packaged the way that some of us would have packaged it.
Everybody's not Dion with his political
Right.
gymnastics and
Mm,
his expertise on knowing and listening to the room. And
Right.
I believe that although his heart was in the right place for sure, sometimes you need spokespeople.
Mhm.
sometimes you need your team to be in full swing to sure, like, I mean, because if your message is right, but you're not delivering it the right way, will anyone listen to it?
mm,
Or
Right. Right.
you know what I mean? And I believe how he did it was like a nuclear bomb. Like you
Right.
go
yeah,
back, like the only
yeah.
nuclear bomb that's ever been used has been America. It's been us in Japan, Nagasaki, right? Now, people go back and be like, damn, that was horrible. Nagasaki is gone. Hundreds of thousands of people dead. But it was like we were losing after Pearl Harbor. We were losing. There was like either all of Hawaii and all that's going to be all of Japan, and we were losing, and we did everything we could to win, which was drop the nuclear bomb on them, which is horrible. But you look at it 30 years from now, 60 years from now, 80 years from now, Japan is thriving in their own people and they're doing well
Mm.
even after that. We'll look 30 or 40 years from now, and hopefully Bethune Cookman will be thriving and great because of Ed Reed's nuclear bomb. That's how I kind of look at it.
Right.
What
Mm.
you say, Trish? Even though he's
Yeah,
not there, I think he caused an effect.
yeah,
The way he
absolutely. And
caused
like you
it,
said, like you said, the way he came out, the way he, said the things that he said. I mean, he could have said all those things just directly to the president, and it all be addressed, and none of this happened, and he still have the coaching job, and the kids not, come out and say all the things. I mean, they were there, but it was kind of like it was,
Yeah.
like you said, a cause and effect, and
But
so that
and
was it.
I feel you on that, Tris. I do. But sometimes, man, you got like my man in Tombstone said. He said sometimes you got to smack a man in his mouth to get some respect. And so, yeah, the bartender. He said, I mean, I don't have no mouthy bartender talking to me. But so sometimes for certain people, it
Mm,
takes a different tool. Where and you're right, Trish. But for some people, you can sit and well, I'm not gonna put this out publicly, and they continue to do the same shit. There's
mm,
some people you gotta you got to hit them in the mouth where everybody's looking and said, "Damn, man, I didn't know y'all was doing that over there." Now they walk a little bit more cautious.
Oh yeah. Oh
Definitely.
yeah. The dormitories and everything for them kids. I mean, they done put it out on Front Street. They done put it out on blast. Trust and believe. Now that it's out there, somebody's got to answer to that. But in the
For
end,
sure.
we still don't have Ed Reed out there as a coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully he'll grow from this. He'll get other opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Ed Reed, listen to your folks though. Listen to your team. Sometimes if you're emotional and your heart is in the right place, sometimes it's better to have the lawyer speak. That's why we don't put so many grieving parents in front of the mic. We have the lawyer speak because they're going to be concise and get the exact point that needs to be given out in a correct way so change can happen. But because of Ed Reed, I believe they're going to do good. I think they're going to be better because of it. Roland Martin and a whole host of other peoples have done investigations.
Mhm.
Oh, hell no!
Trina Jones just subscribed. Thank you, Tiana Jones. Thank you. Roland Martin got the sheet, and it's public information that last year was $6.2 or $6.8 billion that was given to all the HBCUs. And you divide that up in different ways. They did have limitations on the money,
Right.
but infrastructure was one of those limitations. So, I think Bethune got 38 million out of that one $6.8 billion allocated to all HBCUs. We've had McKinsey donate 40 million to a few HBCUs, and they do their due diligence. I think even Chaz Penny. I think Winston-Salem got a little bit of that money. They have a great, excellent nursing program. They're starting back up their golf program. We've talked to their AD and their assistant AD. They're great people. We know they want the best for their kids. They've been doing the right things. And I believe, like I said, we can't be in the all lives matter crowd. We don't have to quantify how important and how great the HBCUs are, because that's just a fact.
No doubt.
Our Black doctors and lawyers and professionals, I think 85% are spawned from HBCUs. So that's without question how important they are to us as a community in higher education. I think we do have just people that want more power and some poverty pimps on the side that thrive in any situation. So with that said, we'll get back into it more. We're going to change scripts. And let's talk about the APGA. APGA. They just had a great tournament out in Torrey Pines. And
congratulations, Marcus Bird.
That crap, we gonna get, he won. I was out there that Saturday. Conditions was US Open ready. Rough was about, I don't know, 8 inches. You drop your ball just from your knee, it's gone. You ain't gonna see it. Remember, you played it last year, Trish. You know how it could be. It was summertime, I think, but so the rough wasn't crazy. We just came through some hella torrential rains. It's tough with the, you know how it is with the overcast and the cold air. So the ball's not traveling as far. It's playing longer. But we need to explain, because I've listened to and I've read some of the PGA comments in the PGA section, and they were just getting destroyed, I think, for lack of information. Why? Who cares if someone's shooting over 4 or blah, blah, blah. This is golf welfare and such and such. And this is from the PGA's comments on their website, not in our circle. Yeah, they were getting destroyed. And so I try to look at it from both sides. Try to. I think they don't have the whole story. I think, and we're going to play a little bit of it. And I think, and it's not the APGA's job to educate everybody on their mission. I wish they would try to do as much as possible so people could support and understand it. But, I thought this was a showcase, a competitive tournament, but a showcase of what minority golf and opportunity can happen when you have great partnerships. This wasn't a look at my APGA. we're ready for the PGA Tour and we're going to take everything from you. To me, and this is just my opinion, this was, look at us. We love this game and we're trying to provide more opportunities for our guys that want to go pro to eventually get to the Corn Ferry Tour, and if they do good, to eventually get to the PGA Tour. You have some opportunists that think, oh, they want affirmative action and jump straight from the APGA Tour to the PGA Tour, and that's bullshit. That's opportunists wanting to use that. The APGA has never said that. Nobody has ever said that. And what say you guys?
Mm.
Go ahead, Trish.
So I like the APGA. I like what the Ken Bidleys, the Michael Coopers, all the gentlemen that are out there, doing a thing that have, like you said, it's a spotlight. It gives them opportunities. It brings them, they give them exposure. We talk about exposure. We talk about golf and exposing our golf, our kids to the game of golf. So this is a way of exposure. Is there a gap? Maybe. But again, it's highlighting where we're at. They're trying, they're talking about their golf journey, and it's allowing different opportunities. We're getting exemptions. I mean, Marcus Bird, he has an exemption. Tim O'Neill, he's had exemptions. So Kamayu Johnson, and it gives them opportunity, it highlights them, it gives them exposure to the bigger events. And and then hopefully they'll show up. Hopefully they'll go out and play, and they'll show up. That's what our hopes are. That's what we want, and we're going to support them. I like it because what else is there out there?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're getting on the stage directly right after the PGA, the tour. You're playing. It was even worse conditions for them on Sunday than it was for the PGA Tour on Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's facts. That's facts. And if the PGA would have ended on Sunday, you would have seen bigger scores. I was there. I watched Ryder destroy himself on 15 and 16, and he was in the lead the whole time. And he dissipated and went down to 4. Just 2 holes got him. 2 holes got him.
That's all it takes.
So, and that's all it takes. And that was Saturday. Think if that would have been a Sunday, the rough is longer. The overcast was heavier, so the ball was going slower. The ball wasn't going as far. The course was playing longer. And that's not to have excuses because, again, I just don't, their mission is not for them to get to the PGA Tour from there.
Right.
I think their mission is to get exposure, get better, and take the necessary steps to do the path everyone else takes. They're not trying to shortcut a path to get to the tour. You know what I mean? This is just one part of a path in your professional journey. And I think half of it is lack of knowledge. And, they don't have all the money or the social media to really explain exactly their mission all the time for everybody to understand. So you have people opining and guessing, and you got some people taking the opportunity to be assholes and racist. I'm just going to put it out there. That's all. That element's going to always be out there. We can't worry about that. They have great sponsors, and we need to promote them so the real message in their mission is out there.
Yeah.
With people who support them. Sif, what say you?
Hey, I think it's a great platform, man. I really do. I saw a lot of people who were thrashing it, but I think Mike Cooper's doing a tremendous job. I think the APGA is a great platform for our potentially get to the next level. Now, I don't subsidize talent. I don't subsidize skill set. This is a showcase, but it is an opportunity. And so I'm not gonna. As much as I'm for the APGA and what Michael Cooper and those guys are doing, and I think it's a great program, a great platform. But I'm not gonna subsidize and say or give excuses and say that it was the rough was high or the wind was blowing or what have you, this, that, and the third. It's
Go shoot a number.
Go shoot a number. Go shoot a number, man. And the thing is it may be, I don't know how many were in the field, but it possibly it may be one guy who just says, you know what, this is the opportunity that I need, that I'm going to take, and I'm going to make this happen. We've seen it in basketball, we've seen it in football, we've seen it in every other sport. And I know golf is a little different. However, someone has to take the leap and say, you know what? I'm not going to be the one that they sit and talk about on Monday that make excuses for me that the rough was high, the conditions were bad. You got to go shoot a number.
Go shoot a number.
I
Now,
mean, look at
one
Willie Mack.
quick,
Willie
yeah,
Mack came up through the APJ. Look at him, so that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. It's some good things that come out of it for sure.
yeah. Tony Finu played on it, played a few things on his journey. It's all journeys and steps.
He shot a
Now, I will
number.
ask this: should it be on television? I'm gonna say this, right? Let me say this. My personal opinion at first was it shouldn't have been on television. Why
Okay.
spend those resources? But then I was like, wait a minute. Just like the players need opportunity and practice on professional fields, it's people like Doug Smith and others that need opportunities to be great announcers. I would like to see them in 5 or 10 years be the lead announcers on all the tours. But how do you get practice? How do you hone your skills if you don't do it? Right?
Right.
They had our guy. Oh, speak, Trish.
So I think so. You asked, should they be on television? Why not? I feel like, get on there, just as well as we have people that are down talking it and why are they on there and +4 this and whatever. There's also people out there that want to see these individuals out there that have the ability to help them. And by seeing them, because like you said, I mean, the APJ and their mission might not be out there. Everybody doesn't know about the APJ as much as we would think that they know, and we hope that they know. But when you have them out there and you have them on the television, just as well, like I said, that we have people that are down talking and we have others out there that are seeing it and that possibly want to see how they can help, see how they can assist, see how they can support, so I say yes, why not?
Definitely. I changed my mind and I say opportunity is opportunity, not just for the golfers, but I think everything else too. When you can put this on your resume and they can see real the cameramen or the announcers or the players in a professional setting doing well, that just helps your resume. That helps your experience level. And this is what we've asked for, not handouts, but opportunity for experience and to showcase what we can and will do. You see
Did
some
y'all
of the
see?
scores. People hated those scores, but these are professional guys, and there are a few swings. All right, our guy that actually won the PGA event, he's from out here. He's really from Santa Clarita, where I live at now. And we're growing up here and played the Muni down the street. And from 20, I think 16, 17, and 18, I think he missed every cut except one. He was struggling. So it's a process for any and everybody. He was struggling. Like you can look. I remember back when Tony Fino was on the Big Break, him and his brother. It was people talking so much trash about Tony Fino, talking about they'll never make it. He should have just went to college. They turned pro. They're just golf hustlers. This was what, 10, 12 years ago, maybe? And now look at them. Like, you don't write people off because of their experiences. Don't write people off because the lack of their experiences. Because look at Tony. He's a household name. He's always been a great guy. Yeah. But now he's everybody's great guy. But he wasn't everybody's great guy when he was just coming. Him and his brother was on the Big Break. It was a gang of people talking mad-ish about him. And he's not going to do this. And he's just a this and that. And they're not this. And they'll never do this. And, what is he, number 4, 6 in the world right now?
But look at our Tim O'Neill. I mean, Tim O'Neill, he kept plugging away. Look at him. He's on the senior tour now. So, I mean, the APGA is definitely a means of exposure, getting them out there, helping them through their journey, helping them through their grind. And there's definitely opportunities out there for them. So,
facts. It's a mini tour, folks. A mini tour is supposed to help in your development. They've just been smart and leverage certain sponsorships and partnerships with the PGA to help in that same mission. Whether they had the sponsorships or partnerships not, their mission will probably have been the same.
Did y'all see
Giving guys,
Kamayu's commercials? Did you see the farmers commercials with Kamayu and I mean it
come on.
was wonderful.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
you
has
know
a
what I'm
spot.
saying?
I mean, mini tour guys and people like that need those twos and fews to continue their journey, need those sponsorships. You may have some equipment guy. Eastside Golf has sponsored a few of the guys. Now that they're doing good,
Hmm.
these guys need. We've had the APG guy, a lot of them on the show, and they are the salt of the earth. If you listen to those guys that's been on the show, if you listen to their stories,
Mm-hmm.
these guys are married, they got young children. A lot of them, most of them came from HBCUs, which is admirable, and they work hard and they're on a journey. Get to know their
Yeah,
stories, get to know them. I swear you'll be fans, y'all. You guys will be
yeah.
fans. You
Have
guys
y'all
will be
seen the
fans.
features, the APGA features that they've been doing with each one of the golfers lately?
I've been watching. I've been watching
It's
them. I've been watching
it's a
them.
good. I
I
love
mean,
it.
and
It's a
that's
good look.
yeah. I mean, get to know them. Get to know them.
Hmm.
Get to know them. All right. Any last words on the APGA and the education of the APGA? Because it's we talk to the choir, but we're on YouTube. This will be watched by hopefully thousands, but a couple thousands gonna watch it regardless. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And that's just a couple more thousand that's just been educated on why and how the APGA works.
You got a question there.
Hmm.
Let's see. Peace, and that's good they are. They must get better and get there faster in order to grow the APGA brand accordingly. See, we want everybody to chime in. And you see, these are people that probably never even heard of them or just seen them on TV. You see what I'm saying? And this is why our show and our
Okay.
platform is here to give truth and here to expose. And, these are good guys. And, for the people who's going to watch later, go back in some of our shows and listen to them. We have a few APGA guys in interviews on the show. We have a few of them. Get to know them. They're good guys. They're trying and they're working hard. It's going to be okay in the end. Everything is a step. Everything is a step. Okay. Last segment of the show. We're going to get into the prime effect and why, to me, why it's so important to have resources in our HBCUs. He went to Jackson. He partnered with Walmart. What's the sports brand he was with anyway? Because he always says, whoever I'm with is coming with me and you're going to support anything I do.
Under Armour.
He had a great relationship with the CEO of Under Armour. He was with Under Armour before he went to Jackson State. He brought them along too. Walmart built the practice field at Jackson State. They had no practice
Wow.
field, just like Bethune Cookman, and they actually built the brand new practice field at Jackson State. They got $38 million in prime effect. $38 million he brought to the city and brought to Mississippi just because he was there, not including the sponsorship with Walmart, not including the sponsorships with say it again. I always forget his other sponsors, his athletic sponsor.
Who, Under Armour?
Oh.
Yeah, Under Armour,
Right.
and a host of others. And then he went to CU. CU already had a decent endowment, and they had just spent, I think, $188 million on their football facility, which is gorgeous, by the way. So then you think him bringing those resources to someone who's already just spent 188, and it just doubles and quadruples. And I want the HBCUs not to compete with that, but understand how important resources are in general. You can do nothing without resources. And like Sif said, football, and then to a lesser degree basketball, funds probably the whole athletics department.
No
not
doubt.
including the boosters and the fundraisers. But football, them TV contracts, and basketball, March Madness, they fund everything else. Cricket's not bringing in any money. Just like golf is not bringing in any money. It's a taker, it's not a giver. But it's important. I always say, you bring in golfers and start a golf program. Those are your donors. Those are your alumni that's going to give probably quicker than the cricket people. Just me, I'm a golfer, so I'm going to always be, partial to golfers. What say you guys?
Hmm. You got it, Chris.
Yeah, I mean it's you know, football is it's the revenue. That's why Notre Dame never left CBS. Notre Dame basketball is in the ACC conference, but Notre Dame football is independent because they they have a contract with CBS for $100 million a year. So they wouldn't be foolish to matriculate into the ACC with football because they know where their bread is being buttered. And so, the thing is with the Dion effect, um, you're absolutely right. But the thing is as much the connections that Dion has, I think people miss the boat when they look at that piece. Dion is a damn boots hit the ground, hit the pavement type of guy. So Dion's going to go out and cultivate that as well. He's going to go out and talk. He's going to get outside of the campus and speak and talk and hey, you need to be doing this or you need to be doing that. It's just not that Dion's sitting here and everybody's pouring his money into him. Dion's just like he said about Jackson State and the water in Mississippi. He said, "Hey guys, this thing's political. You guys just stop being mad at each other and get it done." Now I think I
Mm-hmm.
saw last week where they're having conversations about getting the water done in Mississippi. So,
Definitely.
I think that this is a good template and a blueprint for other coaches as well to get off your ass and get out into the community, go knock on these doors at these corporate places to see if there's a
Hmm.
possibility.
I
Okay.
think so. What say you,
So,
Trish?
I like the prime effect. So the thing is, so that's obviously like football. But when we reel it back in and we talk about golf, like Steph Curry. So Steph Curry did what he did at Howard. Why can't we get individuals out there like that to do a Steph Curry? It's the same equivalent as doing the prime effect. Howard came in. I don't even know if Steph was an alum of Howard, but he came, he supported, he built up the program. Do we not have other athletes out there, or do we not have other successful alumni out there that could come in and do the same exact thing? You know what I'm
We
saying?
do. We do.
And
It's a
but
reason
then,
why a lot don't, but we do. And not a lot. Some, it's relationships. And people talk about this all the time. Although Curry didn't have a relationship with HU, with
hmm
Howard, to be totally
hmm
honest. It was a student that just got at him
that
because he
reached
was
out.
speaking.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think him and his wife were speaking, and but that student touched him enough and they formed a relationship. You know what I mean? Like Ed Reed had Shaq and two others willing to come in and bring 50, 60 million because of the relationships. I remember I told you a story that Dre spent, I don't know, 100 million. Him and Jimmy Iovine spent 100 million at USC building
hmm
a recording arts building, right? And people was
Okay.
like, well, how come he didn't give the money to HBCUs? I was like, he did one at Compton at his high school. He did that
hmm
first before he built the one at USC. Well, USC got billions and billions in endowment, and he should have. No one asked him to. No
Mm.
one went and asked for the money.
Okay. But
Jimmy
could you
Iovine
imagine
went.
if
No
we
one
had a
asked
LeBron,
him.
if we had a LeBron, if we had, all these that are out there, Chris Paul, just whomever, they make plenty of money. Just touch one of these schools, see how the program goes or whatever. I mean, do a Steph Curry, do it for 5 years, do it for 3 years, but try to bring back. I mean, a lot of them play golf. A lot of them play
Yeah,
golf. So why not? So
they
why
do.
not? Why not? You can
Relationships.
afford.
Relationships.
Yeah, Steph loves
Relationships.
And the thing is, Steph loves golf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
he went
you
yeah.
the
know,
extra mile because
yeah,
of the love for
yeah,
his
he
golf.
he he loves
Everybody,
golf.
I
He
don't
was a
think,
scholar. Steph was him and Gerald Henderson Jr. grew up the same way. They grew up, just like some of the white kids. You drop them off at the country club because their dads were NBA stars, and so they absolutely love golf. You know, Gerald's down at Carmel Country Club where
Mhm.
so they loved it. You know, Chris Paul, he tinkers with it. He's played, I've
Mhm.
played with Chris a couple of times, but Chris is a
Mhm.
bowler. He loves bowling. So
Mm.
so he doesn't have a passion for golf. LeBron James loves basketball, and so he doesn't have a passion for golf. And it almost seems as though that these guys they'll take on something that they truly love and identify with. But I agree with you, Trish. You know, they've got the money to change things overnight, but right
They
now
do.
that's just not where their vision is.
Yeah.
And
Imagine that though.
I don't think our the alumni and the boosters.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that next week. You know, we got Leonard Smoot coming on. We got Tiana Jones coming on. We're gonna also bring Charlie Sifford and Julia on because they're gonna talk
Beautiful.
about a scholarship. They got a scholarship that's coming out, the Charlie Sifford scholarship that's actually gonna roll out February 15th. So we're gonna get that information out there to the golfers that are looking to go to college and those that are in
Nice.
college currently. So we're going to talk
Beautiful.
about that, but we're also going to talk about what you just said, the alumni. Like
Mm.
what is the alumni doing for their, their schools? Like, are they giving back? I mean, I don't know.
Mm.
I can't speak to it, but I know, me and Tiana we're having some conversations about it. So it's going to be a great segue into next week's
I will
conversations.
I will say, and a lot of facts came out because of Ed Reed. That's gonna help. It's brutal and it hurts, but
Yeah.
the best disinfectant is truth. It's
Right.
the best disinfectant.
Say
Hey,
And a lot of
it.
stuff came out. And even with Dion, when they was like, well, Dion did this and he used this and he used that, he was like, only 7% of alumni give back to their HBCUs.
right.
7. Roland
Mm,
Martin brought out when he was talking to the intern president, only 1% of Bethune alumni give back. 1%. And this came from
right.
the intern president's mouth, not from Roland Martin or anybody else. This came from the
Wow.
intern president's mouth. 1% give back. Overall, in general, only 7% give back. We
But
need
you
more
Mm,
golfers. They would give
but
more.
but
I'm
here's
just
but
saying.
here's the
I'm
thing though,
just
man.
saying.
You have and I don't think people understand this. The institution has rules in terms of how you give. And so
That's true.
I know to be fact that I may say I want $100,000 to go to the football program. Well, no,
mm,
it doesn't. It may go into a general budget and then it may go into somebody's discretionary fund, or I can't
mm,
give it. So people say, well,
You
damn, if I
can't do
can't
it.
give my money where I want it to go, then I ain't giving it all.
mm.
It's
Okay.
Hey,
crazy, man.
yeah, because hopefully, and hopefully you, Trish, you got great people coming on in the next couple of weeks, and then maybe we can get. I see uh, Penny was on. Maybe we can get their AD or assistant AD to come back on because they were just great folks and tell
Mhm.
us exactly how it works, or But I think we have to make it easier to give to what we want to give to without it going to just a general fund. I'm sure people can give gifts directly to a program. I'm pretty sure.
That
Yeah,
goes back to the
I'm not.
transparency you were talking about. You were talking about
But
transparency. We want to, yeah.
transparency, above
Mm-hmm.
board, and I believe you would get more. So you have an Ed Reed or Dion Gold, right? The people that's going to give them a lot of money are giving it because they're there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
right.
The people that was going to give Bethune Cookman money, the Shacks and a few others, was only going to give because they trusted Ed Reed, right?
Right.
Okay. Did
I
y'all see
think,
the message from DeAndre Phillips?
yeah. Let me see. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me go back. Boom.
Yes.
As a former athletic fundraiser, you can make gifts unrestricted. It's about donor intent. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the knowledge, and that's what I believe too. That's what I thought. Because when we had Fame Youth Coach on, I think he said we could just give directly to their program,
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
right?
and the brother is absolutely right. However, depending on where you are, depending on
Mm-hmm.
who that president is, and how much decorum and how much scruples that they have, they can intercept that and put that into a discretionary fund. I've seen it done. I mean, it's crazy. So he's absolutely right, but it depends on who's the president of the university. It depends on who's the dean and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, and again, this happens everywhere. PWIs, HBCUs, community colleges, any place where there's a lot of money and hands in it, it's going to be great people and it's going to be not so great people. So again, we're not just singling out. We just champion HBCUs because that's just been our mission. That's just been our missions. And DeAndre is like, facts, gifts do get redirected.
I mean,
facts.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Do get redirected. Let me go.
I've seen it.
But you know, again, this is not to discourage anyone from giving. This is a call for transparency and to do better. And if you got people in there that's not doing better, get their asses out of there.
Bingo.
Hold them to the fire. Hold them to the fire, because I believe, like I said, it's about relationships. It's about relationships, and people give when they have a relationship. You know what I mean? We grew up in the Black church. My parents gave to the building fund, didn't see a new doorknob for 25 years. We've been giving to the building fund, ain't seen a doorknob.
Go ahead, Pastor.
I seen new Cadillacs every 3 years.
Brohams.
I seen Brohams every 3 years. But I didn't see a new doorknob, a new door, and the building fund was on fire for at least 20 years of my life. Not to say that people don't, people build glorious and great churches, just to be honest, and do good work. There's some that use that building fund, man. And, it's about relationships. Again, they were talking a lot of ish about Dr. Dre giving so much money to USC for a new building. And I was like, show me one HBCU that reached out to him personally, like USC did. Yeah. Compton College didn't reach out. I mean, Compton High School didn't reach out to him because that's where he's from. He went back there first and built and gave lots of money and built a whole studio and a performance arts center at the high school. They didn't have to come to him because he went there. Dre didn't go to an HBCU, but name one that actually went to him. Right. Or just said, we don't like gangster music. They said that plenty of times, but did they come and ask him? I don't think USC prefers all the gangster music, but they sure enough wouldn't ask him for that $100 million, didn't they?
Hey,
and got it.
Man,
we got a new subscriber. Shout out.
People say what they want to say in terms about what they like and what they don't like and what's not favorable. But I'm telling you, if you're a winner or you're success, hey, Snoop done killed somebody. He's a damn
allegedly.
I love Snoop, rolling 60s, but man, but the thing is, Snoop is great for TV. I mean, he is absolutely awesome for TV.
Winning and success solves most of your problems, unfortunately, in America. Winning and success solves most of your problems. We on 1 hour. We out of here. We'll be back next week. Co-host, beautiful conversation. We're only starting this new year. This is episode 60. What can you do? I think we had a good show. I think we talked about a big thing. And, he's the biggest public game hanger. Exactly. He is, though. Love the pod. Thank you, DeAndre Phillips. We thank everybody to tune in, chime in on the chat. We'll have more topics. All opinions is welcome. All opinions is welcome. If this is a community and if this is a platform where we have real discussions, then every opinion is welcome.
Yes.
And on that note, what do y'all think? Any last comments or words?
It's Jim Thorpe's birthday today, his 74th birthday. Yes, so
it is.
Definitely want to just say happy birthday. Yeah.
Thorpe's in the house, Mr. Jim Thorpe. Happy birthday, legend. Happy birthday. They're doing you right. They're honoring you right. Things are in motion and they look good from the outside, and I think they're good on the inside. That's what we want. Give people flowers while they can smell them.
Yes.
Bring truth and light to dirt and smut, and hopefully we grow and get better. We ain't gonna keep y'all no longer. We like to keep it at an hour, period. And because we'll be back next week. Ain't no need to try to get it all in one time, right?
Nope.
At least that's what
Word.
I say. Word.